My goodness, how quickly does Europe change up? Going into last week, nobody was really thinking about Quadrant being one of those top 6 teams. Now, Johnny, it's almost like they're a shoo-in, according to our, well, parts of our desk, for getting the top 4.
Yeah, and they can really put the pressure on the teams around them as well. If they can somehow win this, and I mean, I'm saying somehow because I think I underrated Quadrant coming into this play. I listened a bit too much to all the pros in the region who are saying, yeah, this team's not looking too hot in scrims. They're not looking too consistent. And they struggled to qualify for Regional 1 as well. But this is a chance for Tundra for sure. I think they're the underdogs here, but if they can get the win, they're suddenly in a fantastic position to make the major.
Oh, for both teams, this is massive. You know, Tundra are the ones trailing a little bit more at the moment, but that switches up if you get through this round, and, well, that's exactly how you do it. You want to talk about being disrespected? Cassio has felt disrespected throughout his career, has not got the respect that he deserves, and continues to score throughout every single chance he gets.
I absolutely love that pass from Raziers as well. Little 1-2 move there from Cassio and Raziers. Raziers just making sure to get the ball past the opponent, going the safe route into the ceiling there. This is going to be open. Rizik just blocks it past a pre-jump, a failed pre-jump. Tundra up 2-0.
Oh, dearie me.
My.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, that's rough.
The last goal was good. This goal, well, you score what you're given.
Yeah, I mean, that was not a tough read. You know, if Relating Wave's got 12 booster something there, then fair enough. You know, you might just end up in the wrong position and be awkward. He had 100 boost there. That is a routine read. Should be an easy clear for Relating Wave. But instead, Rizix, you know, he just does the world's most open net. Off the back of it, credit to him. You know, you've got to be there. You've got to be there to predict the miss if it is going to happen, even if it is in a weird place.
Yeah, absolutely so. As Rizix actually might be able to give his team yet another opportunity. We were talking earlier on, very briefly, whilst Cassio was scoring his goal, about players that maybe have not given credit that they are deserved as. My goodness, that one was close. But, you know, you've got players like Ixo that we've been waiting to sort of crown one of the top players in the region for years now. You've also got Relating Wave on the field, a player that kind of got stuck in the season of the hype that we saw throughout last season for his teammates. And, you know, as soon as that went, everyone's just like, oh, okay. But this is a player that has been hyped for so long. Cash gets them lead back.
Yeah, lovely acceleration there by Cash. He waited for one player to dive in, flicks it over and bumps the goalkeeper. Nice little 1v2 play there from Cash. It was all about having the opportunity to accelerate the ball when he saw the challenge coming, and to get that much, not just on the ball, but on his card to then rapidly bump the goalkeeper. I mean, that's why Cash is so dangerous, as Tyson mentioned in the previous interview. So this is the guy to watch. I mean, Tyson also said this is going to be a 4-0, so he's not going to be too happy with the current standings, but we're delighted to see Cash popping up.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not I can get Seiko and Tyson mixed up once again. As we do see Ixo dropping down, leaves it for Relating Wave. They're going to need some more help. Rizex does get rid. As Cassio gets the ball back down one more time. And talk about all of the stats, talk about the performances yesterday. Also a healthy chunk of the fan base out there that has predicted Quadrant to take this based on one reason, Johnny. And that's the CJ. Not necessarily buff, the curse, the buff. Everybody that's been on the CJ show, or the CJ podcast, has made top 4. Cash was on it this week. And what is it now, 8 times in a row?
Yeah, 8 out of 8 players who have been guests on the CJ podcast have made top 4 in their region. So Cash trying to make it 9 out of 9 right now.
If Cash does not win this, CJ is never talking to him again.
Well, they've had a lot of applications from pros since that streak started. A lot of pros have been applying, I've heard, to be podcast guests. That's going to change if Cash loses today. They're all going to bail out. So we're not just, it's not just Quadrant fans, it's CJ show fans who are hoping that Quadrant can get a dub here today.
Right now they are facing one goal down. 2 minutes remaining. That's the infield pass to Cash. He's got loads of time. And you cannot give Cash that sort of time whatsoever. 2 each. Blast it top corner.
Yep, that's a bang from Cash. In off the post, no doubt at all. And it's a rough start defensively from Quadrant, but Cash is putting it together in offense, and that's just really all they need to take apart almost any team. If Cash is on, no one can stop him.
Cash has been touted the last year or so. Is this now the team that's going to start taking him to those kind of levels? Many of us, I expect that he's capable of doing, as Rizak fakes. Oh dear. Well, he tried to make his teammates look like fools, so Ixo was happy just to get rid of him. 2-2, 90 seconds left. Bump off the ceiling reset. But it does hand back over to Castillo, who's got a little bit of time. Just the back
Oh my.
An extra touch. Might cause a little bit of chaos.
It's an extremely ropey defense here from Quadrant. I'm not too impressed with their composure in front of their own goal. You know, some of these touches from Tundra are awkward to deal with, but some of them look like just normal, pretty routine saves and routine catches, routine clears, and Quadrant don't look prepared for any of them, so they've got to try and solidify here if they're going to close this one out as comfortably as many now people are expecting them to do so. They're heavy favorites in this matchup. Don't forget, Tundra can put themselves top 5 in points ahead of BDS if they get a win in this series.
Wow.
A necessary thing to do as well with Vitality hitting their stride. If Vitality can go and win this event, then they're right back in the mix. So there's a lot of teams in the pot right now fighting for that top 5. Just like in North America, I think 9 teams, maybe 10 teams still in the conversation up there. Look at this though, another ball just harmlessly bouncing into the box. It's going to be turned back into the orange net pretty quickly this time. Quadrant immediately, every time that Tundra attack them, they haven't got a good read on them yet.
Was this the sort of game that you would like to see Tundra take whenever a team's coming in as the de facto underdog and they get that 2-goal lead and they are seeing mistakes from their opponents? You want them to go and convert that game because the default opinion is, are you going to get this sort of opportunity again? Cash off the kickoff. Is it a hat trick for Cash? Backboard for Ixo! And the answer for Tundra is that 2 goals was not enough.
Oh, this is marvelous by Cash once again. He knew Rizix was going to try and bump him. As the ball went over Rizik's head, Cash just dodges the bump, nonchalantly flicks it past one, and yeah, double commit there on the same ball, which ended up being a flick pass rather than a flick shot from Cash. He's just done it all for his team in this game. 2 goals and 1 assist immediately as overtime gets started. And a shame for Tundra. They started off well here. They capitalized on some mistakes, but they've still lost the game.
Yep, it was just 3 goals in a row, and Cash with a masterclass in that game. Look at that. What a goal to get them all started off. Cash knows that he's playing good. And in a best of 7, you look towards the talisman. You look towards that player and say, man, hope you're playing well today. And then the rest of us will fall in line. Cash is certainly playing very well today indeed. But for Tundra, Johnny, who is that player that you're looking for on their side and going, all right, if this guy steps up, maybe more than anyone else, then the rest of the team will join him?
For me, it's Raziers. I think Raziers, well, funnily enough, Raziers and Cash were 2 of the most talked about supposed free agents going into this season and the off-season before the massive roster shuffle changed up pretty much every top team in Europe, well, bar a few. Cash and Raziers were 2 of the players early on who did not have confirmed teams. So we need to see that from Raziers. He's a solo threat, and he's transitioned into the threes environment extremely well, coming in as player most known for his 1v1 skill. But to match what Cash is currently doing is a big ask even for a player as talented as Raziers.
It's also a big ask to Cash to keep playing at that level and not expect that to be the norm, although another early push from Tundra. Oh, good play underneath by Relating Wave. And if you were to say any sort of skill that Relating Wave is better than almost anyone else at, it is those challenges. He's so good at positioning you where he wants you to go and follows the old strategy. Don't just go out your way to win the challenge, just don't lose it. And Relating Wave very rarely loses it, but his team has lost the first goal. It's the same as last time. Tundra 1, Quadrant 0.
Yeah, and this time it's more of a mistake with the decision-making rather than the mechanics from Quadrant. Relating Wave was extremely slow to rotate back, and if he's communicating that to his teammates, they should not be lunging in. We saw Cash lunge in and Ixo lunge in back-to-back there. They could just be pressuring the ball. They're giving Relating Wave time to get back in the game, or even to have Relating Wave pressure the ball in his recovery. So, you know, bit of a mistake there in terms of rotation from Quadrant. Will they be able to fight back just like they did in game 1?
And surely this is slightly more confidence boosting for Tundra. Proof that despite the fact that you didn't take that first game, the mistakes are still coming through from Quadrant. If you hurry them and hassle them, they will get something wrong down the line. So they will at least have that to work with. The one thing they do not want to work with is this sort of offense coming up against them. Relating Wave, full power.
That's phenomenal from Ixo. Absolutely phenomenal. It's less so from Tundra, who have double committed on a 50-50, which honestly didn't look like that threatening of a situation. There's no need to be sending 2 people at that ball. I'm always want to tell you that if there's a threatening shot, sure, double commit. If there's a really threatening pass that you're not going to be able to react to, yeah, why not? But you're getting terrible recoveries off that 50-50, and there's no need for it. Again, the net's open. This time it's not long after a kickoff. Things are really going wrong here for both teams. Last man Demon out the play, Casio jumps, Rizik's out the game, and it's open for Cash.
Yeah, both teams really could do it with tightening up that defense. Just communicating with each other what the intention actually is. Some sort of communication issue for the first goal by Tundra. So another one for the second one, the equalizer for Quadrant. That one you can definitely put down to just the physical game manifesting itself in a goal, but either way, there are freebies being handed around. And the match as important as this one, you do not want to be doing that. Ixo, what a good play! That first touch was sublime.
Just perfect. Absolutely perfect from Ixo.
Oh my goodness.
Completely fakes out the initial challenge by speeding into the play, hits the brakes to catch the ball in a touch that really the defense are expecting to be a shot. And not only that, but he controls it in a way that he can then beat his next man to the ball as well. I mean, you don't get any better than that. It was Cash in game 1, it's Ixo in game number 2. This is the, you know, the problem when teams face Tundra is they're not just a one-man offensive threat. I mean, Relating Waves also scored a quick up aerial in this game, but Ixo and Cash, they could both dismantle teams if they really get it together. You know, Ixo did do that.
Oh my,
Look at that touch from Ixo. He's gone all the way. That's unreal.
Well, I asked whether or not one player's performance can bring everybody else up. Ixo has upped the level significantly. He is destroying Tundra.
I mean, that was a pre-flip into some kind of end of the flip flick. I mean, so unconventional there from Ixo. Impossible to read. To pull that off mid-air, I mean, you can't really blame Tundra for not seeing it coming, really. Oh, hold on a second. We've got another trip on the crossbar, though. Ixo's to the rescue. But the defense for Quadrant doesn't look great. They keep on making mistakes for absolutely no reason, but with offense like this, with Ixo popping off, with Cash, you know, looking like himself, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Sizen's 4-0 predictions looking spot on so far.
Shot on target, and yeah, Tundra look like 2 entirely different teams, depending on what side of the field they're currently on. Thankfully for them, they're more often than not on the orange side of the field, and they have made the utmost use of that. Infield pass directly to Ixo, kind of wasteful there from Tundra. As Riziz with Castillo. Oh, what a stop from Relating Wave. That's going to get passed back to Rizex to go again.
Yeah, we've been, I think, critical, and rightfully so, of the defense we've seen from Quadrant up until this point, but that was a fantastic save from Relating Wave to hit his own crossbar under pressure like that, and actually to avoid a dunk at the same time. Great defensive decision making and a perfect touch. And now he's doing well to dribble the ball out of defense past 1, almost past 2. And these are the kind of things we expect to see from Relating Wave. It's why we're so critical of his defense when he does make mistakes, because he set such a high standard last season online. I think LAN's less so, but online he was unbelievable for both the rosters he played for. And this is, you know, why Endpoint last season, Relating Wave's roster, were one of the only teams to make every LAN. And again, he's made a key defensive touch there. This is more like it from Relating Wave, with him showing up and holding it down in defense. And I'm even more confident that Quadrant are just going to run away with this now.
Yeah, you really now start to go back to that 2-goal lead that Tundra had in the last game and say, you needed that. That had to be converted. Instead, it hasn't. And now Quadrant are running rough shots.
Too fast. Just way too fast there from Cash. Relating Wave slots it brilliantly again. He's had a couple of good finishes in this game, 2 goals to his name. But really, for me, I'm looking to see those consistent touches from Relating Wave in defense, and that is what I'm most impressed with in this game from Relating Wave. I think you'll know just as well as we do that he started off this series a little bit a little bit out of form, you know, with a very bad miss to give Tundra the 2-goal lead in game 1. But he's bounced back. I think his teammates popping off will probably have helped a lot with that. The vibes have got to be good right now for Quadrant in the comms, but still, you know, we've got to give Relating Wave his credit. He's in this team to be a third man, and he's doing that well, but no third man on this shot. It's a second goal for Tundra. Probably consolation more than anything, unless they've got a sneaky kickoff plan.
I mean, they need to have at least 3 sneaky kickoffs planned, so the amount of time that they've got left. And if they do, well, get ready for a Johnny Boy kickoff masterclass
You've got
the game.
You've got a demo kickoff here, easy. It's a demo kickoff. Yeah, they didn't do it, so clearly they don't know any other kickoffs other than standard. Or, you know, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They might be saving it for the next game. Maybe they didn't want to.
For a game that maybe they can win.
Yeah, exactly. You know, sometimes if you are in a precarious position like this, trailing by 3 with not long left, you just say, okay, this game's over. You know, the comeback is not too reasonable. Let's just save our switch-ups. Let's save our new strats for next game. And they are going to call a timeout to really give that as much thought as possible. So we'll see. I mean, if Tundra whip out some new strategies in the next game and really try and mix it up, then I think it's fair enough to just go for the standard kickoff there. But come on, if you're playing for the win, you've got to go for a demo kickoff there, or a fake. Just something. Demo kickoff, follow, and then I think you go fake next. Then you do a normal one for the last kickoff of the game. I want to see that from these teams who are down by 3, down by 2 with not long left in the game. It's not what we got today. Quadrant just up by 2. They're absolutely cruising.
I mean, let's talk right now about what this event means now for Quadrant, because they were a little bit of a surprise last time we saw them, but they came into today tied for 3rd place at 17 points with only Moist Esports, who were on those 17 points, KC on 20, and Oxygen over on 22, who cannot earn any more from this event as they were eliminated yesterday. So for Quadrant, a win here, an extra 3 points on top, you join KC.
Yeah.
That's such a spot to be in, you know, and you can still earn more going into tomorrow against a Vitality team who there will still rightfully be questions around. We still don't really know where the upper and lower limits of that team actually are.
Oh, but they'll actually be, I believe that KC are now #1 in points with the wins over BDS today, but Quadrant would join Moist on 20, so we'll have a clear top 4. If Quadrant win this, we'll have a very, very clear top 4 in Europe. That would be Karmi Corp, Oxygen, Moist, and Quadrant, and then a huge 6-point gap to BDS at Tundra, and then potentially Vitality if they can keep on gaining more points with a deep run in this event. So it's looking very much like North America. We've got 4 clear top 4 teams, and then a big jump to a whole bunch of teams who are very, very close together, namely Team Liquid and G1 on 12, Aogiri on 12 as well, actually. And then you got Tundra and BDS on 14, and who knows how many Vitality can get. It's turning into another like 10-horse race, and you know, 5 or 6 teams battling for one major spot in one event. I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. It beats the last season. We were mostly all locked up apart from 2, 3 teams.
Oh no, last season was rough, man. Last season was the one where we had like 4 teams capable of going, and Vitality got through based on their first regional result, and then everyone just lost. Like, there was so many times, all right, this team gets through if they win. This team gets through if they win. All right, everyone just lost. All right, we're sending Vitality. But it does not seem to be the case this time around. Everyone is fighting for it. And importantly for Tundra, if they can get this figured out, and they do go on to win this, they would be up there tied with Quadrant over in their spot. They can drag Quadrant into that fight. But first thing, before they get there, they need to drag themselves back into this series because Quadrant were a level above in that last game.
Oh, look at the speed of Relating Wave here. He's definitely feeling confident now. I think memory of that early miss in game 1, which had him looking a bit inconsistent for the start of the series, absolutely gone, buried. But timeouts, especially in Europe, have led to wins for the team that call the timeout. A very, very high percentage, much more than you know, you tend to see in game 3, especially when a team just loses 2 straight games. So this is Tundra's game that they absolutely must win. I think if they lose this one, it's GG. I mean, Cash actually hit the target there. Obviously with that tight angle, not a lot of pace able to be generated. It's going to be saved, but you saw the way Cassie reacted to it. It's like, oh my goodness, that ball's coming at me pretty quickly. Let me just make sure I pop that into a safe location.
Castillo looking just to get rid of this ball for now. It's actually been a better start than usual for Quadrant of all the teams that we could have talked out here, because Tundra did get the early leads previously. Maybe that just sort of angered Quadrant previously, but yeah, that was a little bit of a kerfuffle in the midfield.
And that was, I think, two players calling that they've got it, and then they both listened to each other. So nobody went for it, and a bit of a collision as well. We've seen, that plague top teams in the past, even on the world stage, thinking most vividly to G2. Winter Major Grand Final, first series, Game 7 last season. The exact same thing happened. Two players called that they're going to go for the ball, and then they both stopped going for it because the other person called it. So, that's why double commits are sometimes better than just nobody going.
So good.
That's a great touch indeed. And it is Ixo once again, who is just proven to be too much for Tundra to handle.
And this is the only sort of playstyle you can do if you trust the people at the back. Despite the issues that Quadrant have had defensively, Ixo was not rushing to get back into position. He held the boost, knowing that something might come over his way. Was able to cut rotation, pop the ball back into the air, and that is as simple as you like for Cash to finish off. Although, maybe a little bit worrying when you see the ball bounce off unchallenged from your backboard. Quadrant up against it at the moment. But for the first time this series, it is Tundra that have got to get themselves back into it after conceding the first goal. And they do it. Do they have the firepower to do it? Or is Tundra just going to really start to stretch these advantages? And as Ixo off the backboard has support, and there's a bit of a collision. Cash will be by himself. Ixo and Related Wave still trying to get back, but Cash is still there, and Cash has been beaten.
And it's Raziers with the solo play onto Cash. Slow air dribble. I think Cash is expecting that one to go a bit lower, but look how Raziers has managed to air roll underneath the ball there to pop the final touch. Not just over the top of Cash, but also a little bit past his challenge, just sneaking it into the roof of the net. But that was clearly a mistake there from Tundra again in defense. Ixo offloading the ball, he thinks he's going to keep air dribbling. Relating Wave calls him off it, and Ixo doesn't listen. He's probably thinking, did Relating Wave really just call me off this? I must be hearing things. I'm going to keep going. Obviously, Relating Wave wouldn't call me off an air dribble. I'm the first man. But, positions are fluid in Rocket League. Relating Wave trying to get stuck in there, trying to get involved. Had a clear line at the ball, but Ixo just didn't leave it for him.
Screams to me a team that wants that chip on their shoulder, and the idea that we might only praise them coming out of this game doesn't sit well. We have to make some mistakes. We have to give people something to complain about, because everything else has been brilliant. They're scoring 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, and then they give up open nets and double commits and whatever else, and Cash is going to be the last one back. We are just in full demo city right now. He
was going for chain bumps actually in the back corner there. Is an extreme commitment from Relating Wave, who's really stepped up the aggression in this game. I think trying to get involved more in the offense. He saw the goals from Cash and the plays from Ixo in games 1 and 2, and he's thinking, I want a piece of that actually. I got 2 goals in the last game, but I want to be the guy playmaking. I want to be the guy creating these chances, not just the finisher. But I kind of want to just see Relating Wave sitting in defense. It's not that I don't think he can make plays going forward, but I've just loved what he's done in the tail end of game 2, just completely locking everything up and giving Ixo and Cash the freedom to do their thing. So, as good as it is to see Relating Waves have the confidence to advance, and I do want to see him commit to that third man position and let his teammates prio on aerials and solo plays.
Good block there, Cash. Once again, Cash doesn't hit anything but top 90. Like, it is top bins or nothing at all.
I mean, this is why I want to see Ixo and Cash on the ball as much as possible. Ixo again just takes everyone out of the game. Air dribble past one, 50-50, right in the middle of the box, and puts it in a spot that the last defender can never, ever get to before Cash does. And this is, it's going to keep happening if they've got space. Even if they don't, I mean, they're making it for themselves right now.
Well, at the moment, Quadrant, it's not been perfect, but offensively, it's been as close as you can get. Tundra needs something to end this game. Pass through his ears, it skies over his head. They now need to get the ball off the worst person here. Relating Wave, you're not getting it off him from there. Instead, it does drop down, and you are going to get 3-0. I do agree. You want everyone... Say again?
Timeout buff? Nope, not this time.
I mean, I could see, Quadrant taking a timeout.
Yeah, I think
Go on,
I
really
do want to see that. I want to see a team win like a third game in this situation and just call a timeout. And I don't know.
It's not happened yet, and I'm genuinely shocked with some of the personalities we've got in Rocket League.
You got to respect it though. They're just trying to speed run this, just get rid of Tundra as fast as possible, and really just not fully secure themselves. Obviously, you do need more points than Quadrant will accumulate from this win to make it guaranteed, make it to the major. But the fact that all the teams below them are kind of trading wins and trading points, it makes it almost a lock for Quadrant if they can just win. If they win the series, they're essentially into the major already. Barring some crazy fallout where they, go 0-3 in Swiss next time, and that's combined with a perfect storm of two teams below them, both doing really well. Of course, they don't want to leave it up to chance, though. I mean, they've got a favorable side of the bracket here, looking over the other side with Moist and Carmine Corp. They've got Vitality, who, I think could make a run and win this as well. You don't want to count out them. So one step at a time for Quadrant. I think that they've clearly got the edge here. They are the better team today. Even with a few mistakes, they're still levels above Tundra.
I think what's important for me when I'm watching Quadrant right now is it looks like they have a win condition. For a lot of the top teams that we've ever seen, we always can turn around and just go, once this happens, nobody beats them. And right now, Tundra seem to have that. They have something that they can replicate, that they can do tournament after tournament, game after game. That is massive, especially in a region like this where you need to put those performances back to back together. Heck, if you go to big tournaments, go into LAN events, you need something that you look towards and say, look, as long as we do this, no one can beat us. Quadrant have that, and they know it.
It's I think it's well illustrated. I mean, Oxygen didn't do too well this event. They didn't make top 8, but it's a well illustrated concept with Archie's career. Archie for a long time felt like he was the one player in a lot of the rosters that he was on who could really be that troublemaker for the other team. And now that he's got Jorias alongside him, he feels like he doesn't have the pressure to show up every single series, because if he's having a slightly off day, it's fine. Jorias will be there to pick up the pieces and 1v3 the entire other team. But that's what we're looking at here with Quadrant. You got Ixo and Cash kind of taking the pressure off one another and just popping off at different times. And Relating Wave nearly makes it a 3.
Oh, we deserved it!
Yeah, that was a great save, but that's the second time this game Relating Wave's had a very tight angle shot denied at close range.
Relating Wave's just like, well, I guarantee you right now, that was Cash or so they were just not even saved it. It would have been just let in. But yeah, I mean, the best way I can sort of describe what I'm seeing from Quadrant right now is that these are two players that you've got from Ixo and Cash, the way they are playing, that can win you series. And even if that's not happening, as we've seen, there were times last season where Endpoint were not fully clicking, and players like Relating Wave kept them in that series, bought the time for the wheels to start to turn, although Relating Wave maybe not the best at it for this series. He's had a couple of those sort of occasions.
Yeah, I think he had a good backup plan there when he realized he wasn't getting the touch that he initially wanted. Of course, he doesn't want to. He's not calling back pass when he jumps for that. I think it's definitely an adaptation, but yeah, he didn't really nail the back pass either. It ended up bouncing pretty dangerously instead of harmlessly into the back corner. So yeah, not the best touch there from Relating Wave. Got a bit too pressed up on the field. The ball did go over his head. It's gone over Cash instead as well. That's a miss. He dives down and saves it and manages to offload to Relating Wave as well. I mean, how about that for a recovery?
How Ixo on the counter. Got Cash starting to move forward. The infield back pass. Rizek just getting away from the danger for the time being. Once again, Ixo buys the time, dares anybody to come towards him, but he is now out of boost. The ball does pop up. Raziz. Back to the midfield once again. 0-0. The most stable game that we have seen so far. Tundra need to get through this and then do it 3 more times afterwards. Oh, we deserved it! Oh, we deserved it so much!
Perfect first touch from Relating Wave. And not a moment too late with the reset as well. Just sneaks it past the last defender. gets a nice little 1v3 play himself. It's really been the Cash and Ixo show for the most part, but Relating Wave's had his moments. Quadrant are going to need him if they're going to go all the way in this tournament. They have definitely got enough firepower to, I think they can beat Tundra with just 2 of their 3 players playing well, but other teams in Europe, you're going to need all 3, and that's what we want to see from Relating Wave. Absolute class with the control. And the only goal in Game 4 as well. So, quieter one from Ixo and Cash, I would see.
Back to the corner again. So, only to Castillo, who's gonna delay. Go underneath. And Quadrant are gonna need that little bit more.
That's a phenomenal play from Castillo. He's got a bit of help on that one with Rizix chasing Relating Wave into the net and really making the save difficult for him, but well played by Castillo. We've seen Relating Wave and Castillo now both stepping up and making the big mechanical play, and we've talked about 3 players being the guys that do that in this lobby, Ixo, Cash, and Raziers. Now 2 of the other players getting involved as well. And that's going to really alleviate the pressure on Raziers, I believe. Right now, every time he gets the ball, he's probably thinking, I've got to score this, I've got to outplay 2 people, I've got to do something huge, or else we're just going to lose this. But Castillo proving why, time and time again, he is consistently there in the EU top 8.
Midfield yet again, Ixo. We'll see his shot blocked. Took 2 players to do it. All the block back to Ixo. Once again, first touch did not go quite as well this time around. Tundra clawing for their tournament lives, but that mistake doesn't help Rizix. Gives them some breathing room. Tundra not out just yet. Even if they do go on to win this, you wonder, is this something they can replicate? Down one more time, Castillo. Not gonna go any further than that. Tundra are gonna have their last stand, maybe overtime, or maybe the double reset. Either way, we have overtime.
That's something Raziers is definitely capable of, so crucial, absolutely crucial that he was closed down there. That would have been a dangerous position, especially on 0 seconds. Cash with the first real chance to no T's, going the distance. Rizix on his recovery, able to muscle him into the corner. Lots of cuts of rotation here, catching both teams off guard and forcing possession to change hands quickly. Ixo actually finds himself in a position where he might have been able to redirect that, but Cash's touch went past him a bit too quickly. Patience from Quadrant. They don't want to overextend right now. They don't want to allow Tundra to win a game off the back of an unforced error.
You see the amount of pressure that Quadrant send every time. Cash is still around. Got enough on the keeper. Relating Wave does not go all in. Very much in line with his role, just to evaluate, is this worth going in for? Who will it be? To either keep the series going or to extend it through to game number 5. Raziers, heavy touch. Castillo's got to try and just scramble to keep it going. Tundra were a little far forward, actually, so they do have to move all the way back to their back corner. Relating Wave takes his time, swipes at one, wipes out a goalkeeper. Ixo looks to set. And as you said earlier on, Johnny, it is a much more defensive stance from Quadrant. They don't want to give up a freebie.
Yeah, they're making sure not to overcommit right now. That's what Tundra are looking for. They're trying to bait in Quadrant, hit them on the counter attack. Quadrant are well aware of that fact. Just prioritize the outward rotation on every attack and move that they make. Always having 2 back is the key against what Tundra are trying to do right now. Do Tundra have the firepower to get through that more defensive stance from Quadrant? I'm not sure if they do. I feel like the longer this goes on, the more likely we are to see a big peak from Quadrant. And hold that thought. Here comes a shot. It's Raziers denied by the crossbar, and Rizix likewise.
Had the rebound and just put it too high. How long is it going to take for Tundra to get another one? Raziers goes for it. Oh my goodness, Cash had to be so aware of that one. Out of nowhere from the backboard. And we keep going. Cash leaves it for Ixo. Couldn't go underneath the goalkeeper.
You know, boost management has been a bit of a struggle for Quadrant at times. Not as fluid, not as speedy as they were in the previous games this series, but they're still creating chances. You know, that's not been a problem at all. in any of the games we've seen today. Lane Wave almost connecting with a bump there on Raziers. Instead, Raziers beats into it, gets the offload to Casio. Cash just goes right through him. He's not even there. He's going to try and go past everybody here. Key challenge connects from Tundra. They have to deny Cash in each of these 1v2s that they're so well known for. Cash goes past another player, and it's wide open. Can he get there? Cash with the shot, and it's in for the sweep. Sizen got it right. Quadrant, another top 4. Tundra have to settle for quarterfinals for a second weekend in a row.
Vitality will await. Quadrant showing that the last regional was just the beginning. They've done it. They've got the sweep. And now, Johnny, they are in a position where, with the results going the way they have today, if they win everything tomorrow, if they take the regional, they qualify for Rotterdam. But the way that they're going at the moment, that would just be speeding up the process. They are everything that they say they are.
Yeah.
And a well-deserved win. And here's the best thing, Johnny. They can obviously be better. We know they can be better.
Yeah, they're locked 20 points now total, and of course all the teams in the Fall Invitational start on 2, so 22 points. I mean, the magic number is somewhere around 23. So one win in Swiss next event probably puts them into the major with just how things are going for them. That's, I think, the big series that Quadrant needed to make. They knew how much this meant. They're taking out one of their biggest rivals. If Tundra win this, they tie Quadrant in points. Instead, there's a 6-point gap. Massive gap.
I love it.
What a reaction.
I love it.
Cash at the end there. I mean, he was talked about last season as one of the best players who didn't make a major. Well, I think that's about to change.
I mean, Cash is clearly coming with a chip on his shoulder for this season. And every time we get a player like that, they tend to show exactly why they knew something that everyone else clearly didn't. But for this one, everyone seems to know. Everyone seems to be getting on board this now. Quadrant is a team to be feared. And for Tundra, I'm going to be keeping eyes on them, because if next week or 2 weeks from now, actually, I'm sorry, is going to be interesting enough, that race for the final spot got even juicier, because it seems like the pack has got away, but only the top 4. That 5th spot, that's really, really difficult to decide. So let's wrap today up. Leaf, over to you.
Yeah, again, I think you're right, Shogun, that at this point, there's a lot of confidence from the team and from everyone else watching that Quadrant definitely are in a position now to disrupt those top teams and say, no, we're on our way there to sit with all of you guys, Cole.
Yeah, I feel like we're seeing the evolution of Quadrant right now. They came onto the scene, they didn't come onto the scene. They started playing a couple of weeks ago at the start of the season, and they were defending their way to victory. They were called an offensive team. I think it was in Archie's interview. There was a case of them dominating their opponents, being the better team and being able to deal with that pressure. And then we had in game 4, James, back to their usual performance of sitting in the goal, and you just knew they weren't going to concede in that overtime.
Well, I think this was a big test, defensively, mentally, all around for Quadrant, and they passed with flying colors. Mm-hmm. And the thing that stings for me so much is I finally put myself out there for Tundra and Casio.
You committed.
And Sizen, he just came on and said, yeah, it's going to be a 4-0, and it was. So just fire me out.
Working on it, and email sent. But no, it was, again, I appreciate the stance that you took for them. It was nice to see a little bit of fight at the end of them, but obviously Cole, Tundra has a bit of work coming into the next regional.
Yeah, completely. I mean, they are still on the cusp. A couple of quarterfinals results is a massive start for them. The question is, are they able to just do what Quadrant have done and break through into being a regular semi-final team? And when there are so many teams in Europe that are knocking on that door, you have to be able to make a semi-final in order to make it here. I was impressed with Raziers. I was also impressed with Casio, who got a lovely flip reset in that one, but it just wasn't quite enough for them. Quadrant, a brilliant team, and they're showing it.
Quadrant flip reset, I honestly want to say, was incredible. So there you go. That was amazing, Cassie.
Well, we got Corelli standing by with a Relating Wave to talk about the match.
Thank you very much, Leave. Yeah, Mr. Relating Wave, Quadrant Relating Wave. Look at you guys coming out here finishing or sitting at top 4 currently. Sizen said this one was going to be a 4-0 for you guys. I think the expectation was that Quadrant was going to win. How do you approach a team like Tundra with their playstyle being so defensive?
We just played our game, really. Like, Tundra, no disrespect to them, but I don't know what to say. Like, it was a bit disappointing from them, really. But it's just more the fact that we need to keep our game style against them, and luckily we did.
So, I mean, what was so disappointing, I guess, about Tundra? Was it the execution of game style, or is it just game plan in general?
It was just more like they didn't really make the most of their opportunities, and we felt like we could have played so much better than we actually did, and we still swept, which I thought, yeah, fair enough to us, but I don't know, it was just a weird game.
Well, you guys aren't really used to losing here in this regional. You guys have only dropped a couple games now in 4 series. There's 3 teams left, not including you guys, in the bracket. Vitality, who you'll be playing next, Moist or KC on the other side of the bracket. Out of those 3 teams, who do you feel like is the biggest threat towards your Quadrant squad?
I mean, KC is, surely. Like, they got grand finals last time. They beat Moist. Moist beat him again, but I think KC look really good at the moment. Vitero honestly looks like the best player in the world.
That's I think the second time, actually back-to-back interviews now. I think people are talking about KC. Seems like the team to beat at the moment. Talk to me about your team a little bit. This Cash duo, Cash Exo duo seems really strong offensively. They were topping the leaderboards in offensive stats. You were at the top with assists, feeding them the ball. When you guys put this team together, did they always click like this, or was this something that you guys had to build on?
We had to build on it. Like, at the start, it was very all over the shop because there was a lot of days where we couldn't scrim. But no, honestly, the duo that is Cash and Exo, honestly, I'm enjoying the show at the moment. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I think Johnny and Shogun, they were looking for you to hit some of those shots. You got your flip reset in there, but you had a couple of great opportunities there you put away. And obviously, your contributions are massive as well. I talked about the assist category. You've been feeding them nicely. I want to move our microscope over to Vitality. What's the Relating Wave take on Vitality at the moment?
Vitality is a massive question mark. Like, they looked horrible, and then they looked like really good again. They swept EG, who I did not think was going to happen. Who knows? They could play incredible tomorrow, or they could do nothing tomorrow.
Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. We have to get to tomorrow. We're Relating Wave. Thank you for coming on, man. Any other shout outs or anything you want to say before we let you go?
Shout out my teammates in Quadrant. Love everyone here. And that's it, really.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Relating Wave. Hope you have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.